What's going on, everyone? It's your guy, Pat Bernard and Dave Yarnold, right here for the Bells and Bats podcast show. And Dave, not a good day for the fight. As a matter of fact, there wasn't much of a fight up there in New York. The Lady Luck has run out with this team. The clock is striking midnight, whatever cliche you want to use, because the Phillies, up until this point, the bats have been alive, the bullpen's been looking good, and we've got really none of that other than a Bryce Harper 2-run blast. Dave, these kind of games, you're going to need a fifth starter. I mean, Ian Wrangle, okay, but he's got such a weird windup as he delivers a couple fastballs and changeups. I don't know. Have you ever seen someone that can arch back like that and to deliver it, with a weird delivery?
No, Pat, I haven't. I got to be honest, I haven't seen a pitcher like that in a long time. But Rangel, today 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1K. I think they left him in a little too long, in my opinion, because when the Mets got started, Bichette hit the single, or Soto hit the single, and then Bichette came in there, he did his thing, and then Lindor comes in there and hits the big triple to tie the game at 2, and you're like, okay, here we go. Phillies had a 2-run lead, but no, Rangel, not bad. 4 hits, like I said, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1K. I just think they left him in a little bit too longer than they had to. But I think, again, we don't have a fifth starter, so you got to go with what you got.
No, and you're right. Look, listen, they struggle. And again, this is a different world when Lindor's on the hill, in their lineup. You know what I'm saying? This is last go around, you didn't have Lindor. You had it kind of easy. And this time you're getting doses of what he's like. Again, you saw the big triple that really set the Mets over the hill. And then you had Soto, who had a triple in this one. You had Bichette, who had a sacrifice. They start thumping this team in the 6th inning. And like you mentioned, Rangel probably falls on Donnie Baseball's shoulders for not getting yanked. And this is showing me Donnie Baseball not trusting the bullpen at the time. He still does a trade. Obviously, you get Bowen in there who baffled one today. You have Buckus. Really doesn't trust the arms outside of, like I said, a Kickering and Durant. Outside of that, who do you really trust?
Yeah, you're right, Pat. You can't really trust anybody in that bullpen. But, it is what it is. But here's the thing. Mets have lost, 6, 7 in a row. They were due for a win. They definitely were due for a win. They need to get back on the winning track. They just fired their manager like 2 days ago. Things weren't going their way. They just got Lindor back this week, which is big. And if you think about it, Pat, you really haven't seen Lindor and Soto in the lineup in a long together in a while, because since Lindor was out for the injury, and then Soto got hurt again. He hurt his hip or whatever what case was. So those two have been in the lineup for this Mets team. But this Mets team could be dangerous if they had a full squad, but they really don't at this point. So tonight was their night. They got the win. Good for them. Phillies are still 9 games over 500. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And they're still four back of the Braves. So I mean, okay, sometimes you're going to get a loss. It's going to happen. You just broke a 4-game winning streak. But streaks are meant to be broken. Mets, like they said, they lost 6 and 7 in a row. So they broke their losing streak. So it varies.
It does. Listen. You're not going to win every baseball game. I was expecting some kind of magical win, but again, remember, this is not the Nationals. Not the Nationals. Maybe have the worst bullpen in the all of MLB. This is not them. This is actually a decent bullpen that you had to deal with. So your magical run was not going to take. Or was not going to. But it's just crazy to me now in 2 games. It's in the National Series, we got a high-powered offense. This game, I mean, we've yet to see over 6 runs. I mean, this is wild. It's other than Bryce Harper, who's been hitting the ball pretty well, but still, I mean, you only top of the 3rd, you only got 2 runs, and then outside of that, I mean, you still face 10 Ks today.
Well, I could understand this too, Pat. I mean, you have a hot bat on the bench in Derek Hill. I mean, the kid's been playing, Superman, for crying out loud. He robbed Soto of a catch yesterday, and then in the Nationals series, kid came up huge, and all of a sudden you got him on the bench. Why? It makes no sense. He's been really hot the last couple of days. I mean, I think if I was Donnie Baseball, I'd stick with the hot hand. I mean, Derek Hill's been their hot guy. I mean, think about it. He came off the trade, and they put him in there. I mean, he made that catch yesterday. That was just a Spider-Man catch off the wall. You know, it was incredible. And then he hit the 2-run home run in Washington, and then he did it again in Washington. And all of a sudden, you sit him, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't understand why Derek Hill wasn't in the lineup. I mean, that guy has shown you you and I have talked multiple times when they're going to get a positional player out there and out there in the field. Well, he signed in for the job because that play he robbed Juan Soto yesterday over the wall, one-handed grab. I mean, maybe the defensive play of the year. I don't know. But yeah, why would you sit a guy like that who's been smashing the balls late, who's been coming up huge for you, who's been coming up clutch for you? Why would you want to sit him down? I understand you still have to get some kind of work out of Crawford and what you had at that tail end of that offense, but sometimes it's the tail end of the offense has been saving this team, and because the top part of the lineup, just like in this one, other than Harper, hasn't. It's pretty much ice cold. Ice cold.
And it's so funny, Pat, if you think about it. I mean, this kid, Hill, he wants to play. And if he had a choice, he'd play every day. But since the Phillies don't have that, I mean, they have rotation outfielders, what they do. I get that. And you can't play every day, but this kid wants to play every day, and he wants to show you what he's about. And if I was Donnie Baseball, I think I'd put him in there.
Yeah, and you might want to think about that. So again, like I said, you mentioned about Rangel though. Getting back to Rangel, he did not get the start today. Mazda got the start. However,
yeah.
Like you said, 4 hits, 4 Ks, allowed 2 walks, ERA of 4.50, not great. And then you had Christian Scott on the hill for the Mets, who also put up 6 Ks, allowed 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 home run for Harper. Finished with a 3.20 ERA, 3.20 ERA. So, in hindsight, Dave, like I said, this team could have been played. Did I see this game as a loss at the end of the day? Absolutely. I don't know if you want to call it a schedule loss, but I definitely had it not as a win because, again, a bullpen game, not having a fifth starter, you have to figure something out by the trade deadline because it's begging. I get it. You're not going to go to a full 5-man rotation come postseason time, but having key arms in the lineup it is an X factor.
Kudos to Chris Scott. The kid did pitch well today. Had the Phillies off balance all day. I mean, the only thing he gave up was that 2-run homer to Harper. And I think that was the 3rd or 4th inning. I don't recall which inning it was.
Top of the third.
Third inning. Okay, it was 3rd inning. But like I said, kudos to him. Scott kept the Phillies off balance pretty much for the most part. And for them to only get 5 hits all day, I think that's pretty solid.
Pretty solid, Dave. Solid work by like that from that kid Scott. Dave, like I said, he had some nice delivery stuff. Had some fastballs, some sinkers that were dialed up. But like you said, other than that home run, he was dialed in. Yeah,
6 Ks, 2 walks. 6 Ks, 2 walks. Can't beat that. I mean, 2 earned runs and 6 Ks. That's pretty solid if you ask me. I know it's 4 1/3, but still in all, it's not too bad.
No, not too bad at all. I mean, again, when you're living inside the Phillies offense, and again, Turner 0 for 3, 2 Ks today. He did have a walk in this one. Schwarber 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. He struggled a little bit on the hill today. Harper 2 hits, 2 for 4. Harper was pretty much your only S factor in this one. Marsh had a hit. He goes 1 for 4. Stott goes 0 for 3. But Marsh did have 2 Ks on the day. Sosa goes 0 for 4. Raconis goes 0 for 4. Crawford goes 1 for 3. And Marchand goes 1 for 3. Like I said, the Mets maximized 10 Ks today. 10.
Yeah, it's funny. And you think about it too, you look at the Phillies offense, you had no JT today and you had no Bohm in the offense today. JT's been hitting the ball pretty well as of late, and Bohm actually he's been doing his thing too as of late. So taking those two out of the offense kind of hurt the Phillies today.
It did. It hurt the Phillies, and like I said, Phillies just not having an answer for Scott at all. Just not having an answer. Really, like you heard the broadcast, and like Tom McCarthy was a little confused of why they were yanking him out there early. I mean, he could have probably went longer, but listen. Phillies got a new interim manager who wants to make the right decisions. After seeing Carlos Mendoza, who's had a long run with the Mets, obviously was let go. They're looking for a new voice in the locker room. He's looking to be that guy. He's looking to play smart, analytic baseball right now. And he maybe doesn't want, maybe he wants to save these arms for maybe to turn around the season. We don't know. So, but then, like I said, there you go with the Phils. Dave, let's go around the MLB. Let's see what's going on. Like I said, the Phillies lose today. They lose 6-2 to the Mets up there in New York. The collision was bound to win. Mets were not. I'm sorry, they lose 6-4. The Mets were not going to continuously lose, and the Phillies were going to at some point will lose. So, but that's what you had there today. Like I said, I'm sorry, Phillies lose 6-2. Not a great game from your Phillies today. But yeah, so we'll go around the MLB.
You're breaking up a little bit there, dog.
Yep,
You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up on me. Okay, now you're good.
Oh, you got me now? So
yeah,
there you go. Going around the MLB. Going around the MLB. Devil Rays win today. That's right. The Devil Rays win today 4-2 over the Diamondbacks. White Sox win 2-1 to the Royals. You had the Pirates lose at home to the Reds 9-7. The Blue Jays lose at home 7-4 to the Rangers. The Red Sox win 4-1 over the Yankees. The Astros win 8-6 over the Diamondbacks. You had just getting started. The A's and Angels getting started. You have the Braves and Giants about to get things underway. You have the Dodgers and Padres getting things underway. The Marlins right now are winning 4-0 over the Cardinals. The Fish starting to cook a little bit. Win at top of the sixth. At the bottom of the sixth, you have the Brew Crew getting beat up by the Cubbies. You have the Rockies winning 3-1 in Minnesota right now. The Nats winning 3-1 in Baltimore. And the Guardians winning 4-0 top of the seventh against the Mariners. Good. That should be a funny game to watch.
Yeah, you would think.
All right, Dave. Like I said, we talked a little bit about the pitching. Like I said, we could touch a little bit more about the offense. Like I said, not too much today. This offense is very, very up and down. One series they looked good. They took care of a bad bullpen. Dave, how can they turn things around when they struggle, in games like this? I mean,
well, like we were talking about earlier, the Mets bullpen is not the Nationals bullpen. That's just, that's night and day. The Mets bullpen's a lot better than the Nationals bullpen. It's not even a question. Phillies just got to buckle down. Hit the stars a little bit more. They didn't do that today, as you saw. But maybe I mean, like I said, they were due for a schedule. They were due for a loss, and today was just that day. Maybe tomorrow they'll come out and hit.
Yeah, well, maybe so. I mean, listen, listen. We had a little bit of a rain delay. I just figured they would have done their homework on Christian Stott. Apparently not. Apparently Christian Stott has done their homework on the Phillies lineup and got these guys. Other than like I said, Rafael Marchand, who went outside the strike zone and delivered a nice little single. Outside of that, I mean, and like I said, the Harper home run, there was really
Crawford had a single too. I think Crawford had a single. Little hit.
And you did see a little bit more aggressive hitting from the Phillies. They're going after a lot of first pitches, and you got to play a smart fundamental baseball. Sometimes it's not. Maybe that's what they were told to do. Just go after the first pitch. Maybe set the tone with this guy, try and get inside of his head, and the script. They flipped the script on the Phillies because that wasn't the case at all.
That wasn't. Absolutely wasn't. Not today. Kudos to the Mets offense there today. I mean, Lindor was hot with 2 triple. AJ Ewing had 2-run single. Soto the RBI triple, and Bichette had an RBI. Maybe their bats started to come around a little bit too, from what we saw. And like I said, you haven't seen Lindor and Soto in the same lineup in a while. So maybe the Mets. I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to turn it around. I'm not saying that, but today was, just maybe that's a start for them. Who knows? Anything can happen.
No, and kudos for the Mets though. They took care of the Phillies' weaker arms. They took care of Rangel. They took care of Bowen and Buckus, like two, guys who have been struggling in this lineup. It'd probably been a different story if you had like I said, a plethora of Sanchez, Crickering, and Durant. When you're facing those pitchers, it's night and day, and you
Right.
got to face and they should have won. It looked like a scheduled loss. I mean,
Right.
when you have those kind of arms, I know those guys are not trying to lose, but and then Mets lineup who's kind of now gelling together. It took some time because there's a couple rookies in here, like Ewing, like you mentioned. You got Lindor, who's getting back to playing, Lindor baseball.
He's starting to play a little bit better. Yeah.
The one guy you can rely on is Soda, and Bouchette, came up with a nice sacrifice hit today. So you got to credit the Mets in that point.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. Their offense came alive in the later innings, just like the Phillies have been doing the last few games. So it was just their turn today. Mr. Harper going for that extra base. What was that about? That's just dumb. That's just being me, in my opinion. I'm trying to stretch a single into a double. What's the point of that when you know the ball was close to second base and all Lindor had to do was start the ball to second, and you were dead out by 5 feet? But you're close.
No, you're right. You're right, Dave. You're dead to rights. They caught you, and like you said, you're trying to be aggressive. You're just trying to gamble on yourself on a couple of these plays. Like you said, you sometimes play smart baseball. Just play smart, fundamental baseball. And listen, I get it. You want to gamble on yourself, and sometimes again, we know how gambles win. Go. You win or you lose, and in this case, you lost big time.
Yeah, just not a good spot to do that in. Just not at all.
No, not at all. Like you said, you got to play smarter baseball than this, and the Phillies are not playing good fundamental baseball right now. Not in today's game anyway. And I get it. Listen, you're in a bullpen game situation. You want to try to win somehow, some way. You're going to gamble. You're going to do things a little bit more aggressive. But instead of just play the fundamental game, just play smart baseball. That's all the Phillies had to do, and this one came back and cost them.
It did.
And like I said, when you get Lindor, who got to start cooking, that's like I said, the 6 innings where everything got off the rails. Lindor with the big triple, Soto with the big triple, Benj had a hit.
This kid Benj is he's a pretty decent player. I mean, he's a good leadoff hitter too. I don't know where he came. I don't know his whole backstory, but the kid can play. And he's not afraid to take chances, and he's got a good bat on his shoulders, and kudos to him.
No, kudos to him. Tomorrow you get the rubber match. You get Jesus Lazaro on the hill for the Phils. I don't know if they mentioned a starter yet for the Mets.
I don't think I heard one, no.
No, so, we're going to have to wait and see who they're going to roll out with tomorrow. Very intriguing to see what they go. Lazaro could be a very up and down pitcher. If you get to Lazaro,
he's been hot, Bat. He's been hot.
I'll say, but his fastballs and his sweepers have been his his primary and secondary pitches where they've been pretty good. Where he's got guys swinging at base, and then he's got guys changing after his changeup. So he's been pitching better. He'll give you about 5 to 6 good solid innings. We just don't want the Mets getting to him before things can get quite ugly. So we'll have to see what the Phillies do there. Dave, who kind of, I know it's not crazy, grades of the game right now.
Today's great. I'm going to give them a C-. I don't think they played to their potential the way they've been playing the last 3, 4, 5 games. Winning 4 in a row, the way they did in Washington, coming back in the 9th inning, 8th inning, and doing their thing. Even last night, winning 2-1. I mean, they barely squeaked that out because of a huge, catch by Spider-Man himself, Mr. Hill. But I'm going to give a C- tonight. They didn't come to play. You just can't go out there and roll out and think you're going to win every game. It's not going to happen. And tonight, the Mets said, "Well, you know what? We haven't won a game in a while, so we were due to win. So C- for me."
C- for you. You're a better teacher than me. You're a little bit nicer than I am. I gotta go D here. You're one step away from being an F. I mean, if you would have got shut out, it would have probably been an F. D from the manager on down. I gotta go Donnie Baseball. Like you said, not putting Derek Hill into the game. He should have started. He's been your hot bat right now. He should have been into the lineup. I don't understand why he wasn't. I gotta go pitching. The pitching was mediocre. You expected it. I was hoping guys wouldn't step up and try to take care of this Mets. Line that you're going to face. You're going to face the Lindors. You're going to face the Sosas. You want to keep on making those guys feel like they're down in the dumps and not anything. You gave this team brand new life. Now they're going to feel like I get it. Listen, on paper, this Mets team's down and out, but you don't want to give your rivals, your number one rivals, any kind of new life at all. You want to continue the frustrations in the front office. You want to continue the frustrations in the locker room. You don't want to give anything to those guys to celebrate. But then again, you're going to go for it, and then I'm going to give the deed to the at bats. I mean, only 2 runs to show for that the bats weren't really there. Again, your leadoff guys, you're supposed to be your 1-2 punch. Is sloppy. It's sloppy right now. And again, Donnie baseball. It's got to play better strategy baseball. You got to go with the hot bat. Maybe you might want to start a start at the top part of your lineup. Bright, Turner is very inconsistent. You know what I mean?
Minute, absolutely. Turner's right.
He's a streaky guy, man. He's like my underwear. He's very streaky. So
it's funny. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this about a half hour ago. I was thinking to myself, here the Phillies fired their manager when they were 9-19. Correct? Am I wrong on this? And Donnie Baseball turned this team around. Maybe the same one might happen for the Mets. I mean, they fired Mendoza. Maybe this kid, this guy Green, maybe he's a step. Maybe he's the direction they're looking for. I'm not saying he is, but things have happened, and I'm going to go back to 2019 where the Nationals were in last place in the division. And what did they do? They ended up World Series. They ended up having a huge second half of the baseball. I'm not saying the Mets are going to do that, but at the same time, just saying baseball is a very funny game. Anything can happen.
No, it is. It's weird. Like I said, the interim head coach right now, the interim manager is going to be playing for a job. This is his audition for that Mets job. You know what I'm saying?
And he got his first win today too. Congrats to him.
And by the way, Mendoza will find himself next year if he just decides.
Oh, he'll get a job. Somebody will pick him up.
If he decides, maybe wants take a step back from the game, that's on him. But somebody like the A's. Or the Angels, somebody will scoop him up, or the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, I've heard a lot of conversations where it's a fire sale down there. So
go back with Alonso down south.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a crazy reunion?
Reunited.
The reunion of Alonso and Mendoza partnering up in Baltimore.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Yes,
if you get that pairing. So, Dave, let's go to player of the game. I mean, you only have 2 options. You have Bryce Harper, or you have Mr.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. Or his Cleats, I don't know.
Yeah, my player of the game for the Phillies has got to be Harper. 2-run home run, put the Phillies up 2-0 at the time. Actually, not a bad hit. But it's got to be Harper. I can't think of anybody else at this point.
Well, you leave me no choice, Dave. I got to go to the Phillies fans for making the road trip, who spent their hard work and money to go watch the Phillies get debacled. But at least I hope they got good pizza out the deal.
Phillies fans do travel. I'll give them that much. Not that it's a 2-hour drive to New York. Not like it's far, but still, they did go down to Washington, went down there, then they go up to New York, and they follow them. And I'm sure the Phillies will appreciate that. So.
Yeah, listen, but and it's funny too because I feel like the only time Harper really feasts is when he's getting negativity thrown his way. Like, the Nationals fans I apparently heard last week were getting on him. I hear
they definitely got on him. Definitely.
And listen, he put icing on that cake. You know what I'm saying? With a couple of home runs in that series.
Yeah, he did. He loves playing. Well, he loves playing there. Even when he played there, he loved playing there. So it's one of those things where when you're a national and you love to play, your home park, and you're now you're now a rival, and you still it's pretty much the same. Doesn't change.
No, and listen, listen. A lot of those national fans are very, very butthurt that he left. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny. I still see Harper jerseys in the stands though from Nationals. People are still they do miss him. Some people do miss him.
Dane asks a question here on the TikTok, and he says, "Are Phillies bats going to show up in October?" Well, Dave, Dane, that is the big question mark with the Phillies. That's a wait and see game. To me, I don't think they are. I think
It's only June. I can't answer that question right now. If I had to say, I would say yes,
Dave's
because
going yes, Dane.
the way they've been playing the last couple of days. But baseball's a funny game. Weather's different in October than it is in June, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, you're right. The baseball doesn't travel that far unless you're playing in LA or Miami.
This is correct. Yes,
But I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this Phillies team. I think it's just
well, first of all, I think the Phillies got to get a fifth starter is what they need to do. That's option. That's like definitely number one thing they need to work on right now is to get another 5 starter. They don't have one.
No, that is. Thank you, Hunt, for joining the fan club there. Yeah, that is the problem. Act number one. They got to get themselves a fifth starter. They got to add themselves another arm.
You can't be bringing out Tim Bays every 5 days. It's not going to happen. I mean, you think about it. I mean, seriously.
No, you need another arm. You're gonna need, and like someone mentioned yesterday in your live, like, will the Phillies Phillies really need to add another bat? Like, that's one thing I gotta give Dave Dombrowski. Like, the modern moves he makes major impacts. Like last year, he brought in Harrison Bader, who made a major impact. This year, he's brought in Derek Hill, who's been in the national series has been a difference maker, and and his defense now we got a taste of what he could do in the field. So maybe these are good things to come from Uncle Dave. But if Double D,
it's funny too, and you think about it. I mean, Schwarber with 29 home runs, but when he faces good pitching in the bullpen, you don't see that much. You just don't. And
so make sure
I think I think that's a big difference in this lineup. If he's cold, then it's
and again, like if Derek, and maybe if you get more consistency right now, Derek Hill again, it puts in the back of your mind.
I like Derek Hill. His play,
I do.
He's good.
I do. Same
He's
here.
Solid player.
I like him. I like Stott. Like start bumping those guys to be your number 1, 2 hole. You're like, at some point, like I know it's June, but before we know it, it's going to be October.
Right.
After 4th of July, and you go to your local Targets and all that stuff, your grocery stores, or dollar stores, you'll start to see Halloween decorations. It's going to come before we know it, and then you're going to need some hitting, and the hitting is going to be make or break it this year. I just feel I don't have a good feeling with this team. I think this team plays too much panic baseball. I've seen it every October.
Well, it's pretty much same story, same ending. We know what the ending is going to be. But it's just the thing about the Phillies is, and I've been saying this for a long time now. If they have a lead,
thanks for
the Phillies. If the Phillies have a lead, they have the solid bullpen to back it up with one of the best closers in the game. When you have them, if you have them losing and their bullpen and it shakes and breaks, whatever the case may be, some other teams they have good bullpens too. I mean, the Phillies aren't always going to play the Nationals. It's not going to happen. So I mean, I'm just saying.
No, you're not always going to play the Nationals. Won't be there. You know what I'm saying? No. You're going to have to deal at some point. You're going to have to run across the Braves. You're going to come across the Brew Crew.
Right.
You're going to come across the Dodgers. You're going to come across a heavyweight. And the thing is, can you hang with the heavyweights of the NL? And I don't know if they can. And like I said, I've mentioned panic baseball with this team. If you notice, when the pitches count, this team will swing at anything in the ground. And I've seen it playing panic baseball. I've seen it with Harper. I've seen it with Bohm. I've seen these guys swing at anything, and then they start sweating at the at the hill, at the plate, swinging at whatever. And you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. They showed signs of it. Like they need to finish this story with this group, with the Bohms. If not, you need to. I know we've talked about it last year. You have to say it's sink or swim, time to turn it in if it doesn't pan out this year. Because the Philly fans are going to eventually turn on you.
I did hear today the Phillies picked up who was it? I think it was an outfielder. I can't remember. I heard earlier, but it slipped my mind. But they did pick somebody up. I think as of yesterday or today, something like that. I don't remember. I can't remember. If you said the name, I'd know it, but I can't off the top of my head. I want to say, is it a pitcher? I don't. They picked up somebody today. I know they did. A former the Dodger. He's been around the league. He's been around the league though. He's been around the league for a while. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, the Phillies are going to need, like I said, an arm and a bat. I think maybe if you want to get a middle reliever at this point in the stage, because again, you're not going to have Orion Kirkerings. You're not going to have, so you might want to get a middle reliever in here to help pitch.
Oh, without doubt. Yeah, well, like I said, tomorrow's the rubber match. See what happens.
Yeah, tomorrow is the rubber match. We'll see what happens up there in New York between the Phillies and the Mets. We're going to get ready to wrap up the show here, guys. This has been a great Philly Bats and Bells podcast show, or Bells and Bats. I might have flipped that around 8 different ways. But again, you're with my man Dave Yarnall. Again, guys, give him follow on all the social media as you go. If you go through TikTok, in case if you don't know, if you can't see him, he's been doing a lot of a lot of WWE coverages. He does a lot of helps me with the Philly coverages. He's been putting a lot of videos together with me, and we've been crushing it here. So again, guys, make sure you give a follow wherever you're, whatever social media platform you're watching from. But anyway, for Dave, me and you will touch base tomorrow. We'll see who wins this rubber match, and then the Phillies welcome in the Pirates, and then it's a break, and then they head out to Kansas City.
Actually, the Pirates have been playing well lately too. Pirates have been playing pretty well lately. I don't know.
Well, listen, it's another Keystone battle. That's for sure. Nothing and with this Phillies team, you never know what you're going to get.
This is true.
To quote the great words of Forrest Gump, you never know what you're going to get. But anyway, Dave, let's wrap up the show here. I'm starving. I'm hungry. I need to get something in my belly, as the Gobbler needs to do. But again, guys, for the Gobbler, for Cowboy Dave, we are out of here. Again, guys, have a good one. We'll catch you later on the other side. See you later. Bye-bye.
See y'all.